Gonna need all the black women to come to the front for this one. How old were you when you had your first perm? And I mean perm for black women in a sense it's a relaxer. How old were you?
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. My name is Dumebilia. If this is your first time, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So you guys, I came across this video on the shade room and I had to run all the way to do my research. I went to Google, I went to TikTok, I went to Twitter. I found several videos of people talking about it. I'm just going to play it right now.
This is a public health crisis.
These are the relaxers that black women have been using for years. Motions, Just for Me, Dark and Lovely.
I am the first voice of many voices to come.
Now at the center of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit after this woman claims she developed cancer from her years of getting relaxers.
Guys, this is a big deal. The NIH has recently published a study showing that women who use chemical hair straightening products in the study were at higher risk for uterine cancer compared to women who did not report using these products. A lot of us have hair relaxers, including myself. I've gotten my hair relaxed literally since I was, 8 or 9 years old. And the study makes a point that black women may be more affected by this because of our high rate of relaxer use.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is so scary. We've been knowing for some time that relaxers are dangerous. It's just better to leave your hair in its natural state than putting stuff on it. But I personally, to speak for myself, I did not know why exactly relaxers were said to be dangerous. You understand? So there's something about when you hear, oh, stay away from this, it's not good for your health. And when you now hear that, okay, this causes cancer, this could affect your fertility, this could actually put your life at risk. It is so scary to me as a black woman, and I believe a lot of black women who come across this too can agree with me that this is really scary. Now, to see an actual person who is living this reality right now, she had to get a hysterectomy. Basically, she had to have her womb removed just at the very tender age of 28. In my opinion, that's like the peak of your fertility. For her to now realize that the whole fertility thing is gone for her. She doesn't have the options of having kids biologically, like her own children from her own body. That is so scary. I feel like that's a choice we'd rather make ourselves than being put in this position where our health is the reason why we cannot do it, and just simply because we were using relaxers. Like, it scares me.
How old were you when you had your first perm? And I mean perm for black women in a sense it's a relaxer. How old were you? Do you remember? Because I'm pretty sure I was like 5 or 6. This is me. Pre-perm. This is me, senior year, post-perm. This is why I came here. Say hello to this new research from the NIH. Hair straightening chemicals associated with higher uterine cancer risk. NIH study finds black women may be more affected due to higher use. It says women who used chemical hair straightening products were at a higher risk for uterine cancer compared to women who did not report using these products. In this article, they are specifically using hair straightening products as a relaxer. I know that we use perm and relaxer interchangeably, but they are specifically talking about relaxers. Because here it says the researchers found no associations with uterine cancer for other products that women reported using, including hair dyes, bleach, highlights, or perms. It says because black women use hair straightening or relaxer products more frequently and tend to initiate use at earlier ages than other races and ethnicities, these findings may be even more relevant for them. And the findings were consistent with prior studies showing straighteners can increase the risk of hormone-related cancers in women. Now, I don't know about y'all, but now I'm really curious about my whole system, period. Because as someone who's literally had their 3rd miscarriage this year, no joke, that literally just happened like over the weekend, but anyway, and who has also had an ectopic pregnancy, I'm very curious to see what other uterine or reproductive related stuff that perms, relaxers, can actually affect. Honestly, keeping up with European beauty standards is not for me. I stopped getting perms like 7 years ago, and I'm so glad I did it. But cancer? These beauty standards were giving us cancer? No, ma'am.
Just think about that for a second. if you put a relaxer in your hair at least 4 times a year, there is probably a 2.5 times chance more that you will develop uterine cancer than your natural sister sitting over here. That should let us know how damaging that chemical is. Uterine cancer. So I think about a lot of my friends, a lot of Black women that I know. They are trying to eat right. They're trying to exercise. They're trying to take care of their bodies. They're trying to take care of their health. But they slathering this chemical on their hair every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks. Y'all, we got to realize and take responsibility for this very damaging relaxer. First of all, there's not many studies that's done specifically on Black women. Okay. So that tells me, and my gut tells me, the numbers are probably more than that.
So to speak from my own personal experience, I'm so thankful for my mom. She didn't let us use relaxers all through when I was in secondary school. That's what you guys know as high school if you're American. So that's like the first 15, 16 years of my life. I wasn't using relaxers, and I'm so happy for that. But of course, during university, after university and going forward, I started using relaxers, and I used them like 3 times a year until I went natural from, I think, about 2015 to 2020. I was natural for those 5 years. And you guys, I eventually went back to using chemical straighteners on my hair. Yes. But what I started doing was I started texturizing my hair because I got bored of just having this natural look. I wanted to try something new. I started texturizing my hair. I started doing the whole Jerry curl thing. I have a whole video. It's actually one of my videos with the highest views on my channel. A video on how I went and got my hair texturized and did the whole Jerry curls after about 5 years of being natural. Immediately I even came across this video, I went straight to Google and I was like, are relaxers the same as texturizers? Because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I went back after being natural. I went back to these chemical straighteners and I was asking myself, why on earth did I do that? Why did I see my natural hair as an inconvenience? For Black women in America, in the Western world, it's so sad that a lot of them did this because this is what they've been taught. This is what the society expects of them. To think that for you to get a job, you have to straighten your hair. For you to be viewed in a certain way that will make you comfortable in a specific setting, you have to have straight hair. To think that you're profiled in a certain way when you have your natural hair, you think that hair is such a big deal over there that to make yourself open to several opportunities as a Black woman, you have to straighten your hair. It left Black women little or no choice. And then over the years, your mama is telling you your hair is too nappy, you need to straighten your hair. You go to the hairstylist to make your hair and they charge you more because your hair is natural, or some flat out tell you they are not going to make your hair. So basically, it's just happened in such a way that Black women in America were pressured to straighten their hair. So for Black women in America, they basically had to use the straighteners for them to have a normal professional career, for them to be easily accepted into society and integrated into society and all of that. Then for Black women, every other place, let me speak specifically for Africa because this is where I am, this is what I know about. In Africa, nobody is going to shame you for having natural hair per se. Nobody is going to tell you, oh, for you to get a job, for you to work here, your hair needs to be straightened or whatever. But there was just this thing about being seen as a cool person, being seen like the in thing, being seen as fashionable, being seen as exposed if you had relaxer in your hair. That was until the natural hair movement like 7, 8, 9 years ago. But before then, it was just the norm to start getting your hair straightened. Maybe once you were 9, 10, you start getting your hair straightened maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, depending on how regularly your mom deems it fit. Maybe it's Christmas and she wants to make you a very beautiful hair for the holidays and then she has to straighten your hair. For some kids, it was like that. So over here in Africa, it wasn't like we were pressured. It wasn't like we had no choice. We were just doing it because, believe it or not, you guys, those Eurocentric beauty standards also apply here in Africa. When we put on our TV, that was what we saw. We saw people with straight hair. We saw Black people with straight hair. We saw white people with naturally straight hair. So that was how we viewed building, not to mention that it was also easier to manage when our hair was straight. You guys know the struggle with natural hair. Black people in Africa did not really know how to take care of hair in its natural state. Or at least I feel like most people, because I was one of those people, I didn't know how to take care of my natural hair. It was during the whole natural hair movement, we started watching tutorials on YouTube. A lot of people got into the whole natural hair care thing. We properly learned how to take care of our hair. So it's sad to think that even here in Africa, we use relaxers and texturizers and all those chemical hair straighteners probably as much as our sisters in America and other parts of the world. And with the videos that I've come across and the little research I've done, it's not just the risk of uterine cancer, there's also the risk of endocrine cancer. The risk of fibroids are higher in women who use chemical hair relaxers. The risk of ovarian and breast cancers as well. I had to make the decision to go back natural. I'm due for another texturizer because I usually texturize my hair every 3 months, but I'm not doing it anymore. I'm transitioning back. It just takes something like this to jolt you out of sleep, like to make you realize, okay, now this is the move you need to make. So now the question that I have is, apparently from some of the research I have done, it's came out that, this discovery is not really a new discovery. Like people have been told, people knew that these chemical hair straighteners were toxic for the health, that it could cause issues, but people kept using them. So why is it an issue right now? Why are people all of a sudden coming out? Like people are straight out going to court, taking these companies to court.
Matter when they started using hair relaxers, may be entitled to compensation. So whether you still use it, currently using it, you use it in the past, you may have a claim, because we do believe that there was some fraud involved. We believe that these individuals or corporations, manufacturers or distributors knew these products were harmful to Black women, and yet they put profit over your health and your lives. And I'm here to tell you that Black women lives matter, and we're here to fight for our sisters, for our mothers, our grandmothers, our daughters, our cousins, our friends, our acquaintances, anyone that's been affected. We're here to fight on your behalf.
So is it about the coin? Is it that people now want to make money off of this pain? Because this woman came out, believe me, 100 and more, thousands of more women are probably going to follow suit, especially when they realize money is involved. That's my first question. Why are people coming out now? Is it about the coin?
Many voices to come.
Let me just add my voice in the mix too. I think we all have known by now that relaxers caused cancer. If you didn't know that, where you been? And while I am all for people getting their coin, I think we really got to look into the selectiveness that we have in the community, because it hasn't been an issue for forever, and now all of a sudden it is an issue. Why? Can we make the collective decision to stop putting beauty over health? Is that ever going to occur? I don't know. It kind of just reminds me of like the lady who sued McDonald's because like her coffee was hot and like she spilled it on herself, like back in the 90s or whenever the hell that was. Like the same thing.
The second question that I want to ask is, we have very toxic beauty standards, not just in the Black community, generally as humans. You see people going under the knife a lot, BBLs, unrealistic diets, doing a lot of crazy things just to appear, to feel beautiful. So there's always been that thing where people choose beauty over health. So is that ever really going to stop? If you ask me, I'd say no. So I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, share this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Before the study came out, remember when Chris Rock did that documentary, he was talking about how literally when they look at the skulls of women who get relaxers, like their skulls are scorched like after they pass away. And I was like, I'm so sorry, there can be nothing healthy about that. Like, and they were trying to say like, oh, it's healthy, it's this, it's that, and other people were coming in the comments like it's linked to fibroids, it's linked to all this other shit. So to see this uterine cancer study come out, I just want to know, girls, like, how long are you going to keep saying relaxers are healthy?